A prominent separatist group releases its blueprint for an independent Alberta.
There's ideas there that we want people to consider.
The suggestions, including open gun laws, that may surprise you.
It's mind-boggling.
Plus, remembering a famed Flames broadcaster.
The National Hockey League presents a celebration of Peter Maher's life, the final Yeah Baby.
Story shared of the man who called nearly 3,000 games.
I knew I could trust him, and I loved our friendship and relationship.
And reading, writing, and arithmetic at the age of 5.
As a mom and, as parents, I was so proud, to be honest.
A Mensa member with a massive IQ, ready to start kindergarten.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Alberta's separation movement is putting its vision on paper. A new discussion document outlines what an independent province could look like, from taxes to government to individual rights. Mark Villani reports on the blueprint and the mixed reaction.
Proud Albertans are flying their flags in favor of independence. But one group is sending an even bigger signal, spelling out what separation from Canada could actually look like.
It's designed to get people talking. It's designed to get people thinking that, and it's also designed to get people's input back.
The Alberta Prosperity Project released this 54-page document entitled The Foundation of Freedom. It proposes an independent Alberta to be led by a president, free passports for citizens, an income tax capped at 10%, and English as the only official language. 3 levels would form governments, including a leader with veto power, an elected legislative assembly and senate, and elected judges. An elected independent body would also lead the oversight branch, giving it power to access all government documents, run elections, and investigate public complaints.
It's going to help minimize government corruption, of which we have a lot of.
The document also puts a strong emphasis on individual rights, including the right to possess and carry firearms, access and delete personal data held by the state, and choose or refuse health care.
It's a scary vision.
The leader of the Forever Canadian movement also took issues with the document's claim to protect all Albertans from discrimination, including based on, quote, lawful sexual orientation, which isn't defined.
You're looking at a combination of gunslinging Texas with very much oppressive Alabama, where no minority rights are being recognized.
How people identify is of little to no concern to me.
But some prominent separatists who are not part of the Alberta Prosperity Project say these ideas don't all fly.
It's getting a bit too detailed for what's a constitutional document. Those are policy positions. We want smaller government. We want less tax. But that's more a discussion between the electors and their government rather than having it, again, enshrined in a constitution, I believe.
Although we think that it's a bit premature, once we get to that point in time, it will absolutely be a very important part of the conversation.
A conversation that separatists hope to continue.
They have a chance right now to take charge of their future.
And a future some hope to avoid ahead of the October 19th referendum.
This really takes us back hundreds of years.
And Mark joins us now. So, Mark, this discussion paper is already receiving plenty of feedback.
Yeah, that's right, Tara. The Alberta Prosperity Project told us that within just the first day of releasing this document, that more than 70 people have now gone to them and provided input. The group says that's the whole point here. It's a discussion based on what will eventually lead to a constitutional conference so that those in favor of separation can identify what rules they're in favor of and what rules they don't like. Again, this is not a finished constitution by any means, but what's being called a starting point for the future of Alberta's independence and what that could potentially look like. Tara.
Okay, Mark, thank you. It's down to the wire. We are once again just hours away from Donald Trump's threat of 50% tariffs on a wide range of Canadian goods if a new trade deal is not reached by midnight Eastern. It was another day of intense negotiations in Washington with very little information shared with the public. CTV's chief political correspondent Vashi Kapelos has more on what she's watching for.
Well, there are a couple of really important things from a political perspective I think we can take from what's unfolded over the past few days, even the past few hours. The very fact that the Canadian negotiating team has been engaged as long as it has with their counterparts in the United States even since the extension of the 338 tariffs, tells you there's actually a lot left to negotiate. Despite the framing from the U.S. president as, almost a fait accompli, those details are really salient. I'm going to tell you why using one example, the steel sector, right? So baseline tariffs, we understand from our reporting and others, will go from 50% to 25%. But the U.S. intention is to impose a quota. So steel under that quota will get 25%, but over the quota will be subject again to more punishing tariffs. So what is that quota? That's what's being negotiated right now. And it's actually a really important number because it's going to help us assess the metrics and the veracity of this deal overall. The second thing I'm really focused on is the politics of all of this. And that is because there are a few interesting things germinating from these negotiations. And the first appears to be that we will accept a baseline level of tariffs. And that's not exactly something I would say that the Canadian public has been primed for by the Prime Minister. He talked a lot about getting the best deal compared to other deals, but the other deals are not great. So if ours is not great, but not the worst, is that enough to land with Canadians who haven't really been primed for the possibility that it might not be that great of a deal at all? I think that's really a challenge for the Prime Minister when the mood of the public, as public opinion polling shows, is so much geared to not wanting to concede more to the president, to stand up to the president. How is he going to kind of reconcile those things if, in fact, the deal appears to be what it is and there is a baseline level of tariffs that remain? That's a big political vulnerability for him moving forward. Vashi Capellas, CTV News, Ottawa.
We are hearing from Alberta Premier Daniel Smith for the first time this week. Tommy Osborne joins us now. And Tommy, the premiers were all briefed on the deal a couple of days ago by the PM, but everyone is staying very tight-lipped.
Tara, we've only heard from a couple of premiers this week, and the only detail they've publicly confirmed is Mark Carney's request to put U.S. booze back on store shelves. The premiers have apparently agreed to do that, though not all are happy about it. Alberta and Saskatchewan are the only two provinces where you can already find U.S. liquor. After a brief 3-month pause, we put American alcohol back into stores more than a year ago. Premier Smith says she hopes eliminating this source of contention altogether, which is apparently a major irritant to Donald Trump, will help negotiations and allow Canada to move to the next stage in our relationship with the United States. And like most Canadians, she says she's hoping for a deal that avoids additional tariffs.
Alberta has enjoyed 97% of our products going across to the United States tariff-free. I know everybody hopes that we could get 100% of all products going across the border tariff-free, but I think that where we're at in the negotiations is that we're aiming to get the best agreement in the world of any nation with the United States and a reduction in the current tariffs that we have.
So again, multiple sources tell CTV News they expect reductions in American aluminum, steel, and auto tariffs, but questions linger on lumber and agriculture. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc did say Canada's dairy supply management system will remain in place. Tara?
Okay, Tommy, thank you. It is being dubbed the final Yeah Baby, a celebration of life for Peter Maher, brought together family, friends, and Calgary Flames greats. The longtime radio voice of the team passed away last week, but his iconic calls and his warm spirit will be long remembered. Here's Jordan Canagan.
Along with the sadness, a celebration.
The National Hockey League presents a celebration of Peter Maher's life, the final Yeah Baby.
For Calgary Flames fans, Peter Maher's catchphrases are iconic.
Calgary Flames have won the Stanley Cup! We're the winners! We're the winners! Yeah, baby! Yeah, baby! Yeah, baby!
For 33 seasons, Maher was the man behind the microphone.
Hey, you can put it in the win column! Play on! Yeah, baby!
He passed away on August 13th at the age of 79. His funeral on Friday, bringing together those connected to the Flames, past and present.
Just a great guy. He was, of course, around us all the time, travel with us, and so yeah, I really liked him. Great guy is the first thing I think.
Maher called 2,954 games for the Flames, including the 1989 Stanley Cup win and the Cup run in 2004.
When we scored that overtime goal in 2004, and he was so excited and yelling, "Yeah, baby!" That got us over the hump and so on. So I think that's the one I'll remember for.
Beyond the broadcast booth, Maher is remembered for his warmth and kindness.
Peter left us before I could let him know that he was the soundtrack to my favorite memories. His constant encouraging presence.
He was my Bible for hockey, and I trusted him with everything that I know how to do, and he was always there as the guy to give you the pat on the back.
Led by his family, his celebration of life coming to an end in the most fitting way.
1, 2, 3, yeah, baby!
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Donations and tributes for Peter Maher are being directed to the Alzheimer's Society of Calgary.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Newly developed technology has been used to help rescue a tourist trapped in a cave near Canmore. The tourist got stuck Saturday in a very narrow section of the Rat's Nest Cave, referred to as the Psych Squeeze. It's located on Grotto Mountain. Cave guides were unable to get the man out. For the first time ever, Alberta Search and Rescue used a cave radio technology that they developed in 2023 that sends text messages underground.
This technology is pretty exciting because GPSs and cell phones and satellite messengers and all those things that we kind of rely on in a rescue in the regular world don't work underground. The signals from radio waves and things don't penetrate through the earth.
It took more than 12 hours, but the trapped tourist was freed safely and he did not need medical attention. Wow.
Yikes.
Okay. Well,
no, thank you.
No, thank you. I agreed. Yes, underground cave. No. Nope. Well, it's a beautiful night out there.
It is.
So, Danielle, should we be expecting any storms tonight?
Nothing tonight. It's the calmest, quietest night. So good news. It is one of those evenings where it's great for a walk and just anything you can do outside really to enjoy this lovely weather. We're looking at stable weather tomorrow as well, but you can see what is starting to creep towards us. This will make for some cloudy periods out there at times tomorrow, so it won't be as bright as we had for much of today. 25 degrees is the temperature at the airport right now. We did get to a high of 26 in the city. We have gusts around 30 kilometers per hour, so that's certainly, it's a nice breeze when it's this hot, let's be honest. All right, air quality health index at moderate for the city. Towards Banff, though, it's higher, so poorer air quality the further west you go. Tomorrow will be even hotter than today. 28 degrees is the daytime high. With the humidity, it will feel closer to 30, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Ali Al-Dalawi has always been a precocious child, and his parents now know precisely how gifted he is. At age 4, the Calgary boy scored 160 on the world's most famous IQ test for his age group. Also widely considered to have 160 IQs, Benjamin Franklin, Stephen Hawking. Tyler Barrow caught up with Ali as he gets ready for his next test, kindergarten.
Peru, this one, Algeria.
After seeing their flags, Ali Al-Dalawi can list dozens of countries. His smarts don't end there.
He's also very funny, loud, creative, and curious. You will have to come down here, no I will.
He's now 5 years old and already reading with ease, but he can also crunch numbers quickly, which is what he prefers.
Math or reading?
Math.
He's shy, but also super smart. Last fall, Ali scored 160 IQ, putting him in the top 0.1% of his age group. According to Mensa, the world's oldest high IQ society, a score of 100 is considered average. You only get to become a member if you're in the top 2% of the population or 130 IQ or higher.
As a mom and as parents, I was so proud, to be honest.
Hassan noticed from the age of 2, Ali was curious and liked to build new things, using his imagination while asking questions beyond his age. That's why she had him take an IQ test.
Not only just a deep question, but he likes also to know the way or the things how connect with each other.
And it runs in the family. His 10-year-old brother Omar and 7-year-old sister are Mensa members. Their parents are earning their PhDs in computer science and petroleum engineering at the University of Calgary. When Ali gained entry last December, at the time, only one other 4-year-old was a member in Canada.
They see patterns well on IQ tests, but they see it in life. They see it in math. They see the pattern in reading.
But Ali still enjoys being a kid. His favorite soccer player is Cristiano Ronaldo, which also explains his haircut.
As a mom, I feel happy, and I feel he will do very well.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
Smart family. 156 kids age 4 to 11 are in the Mensa program in Canada. 40 are from Calgary. The Walter Cup has disappeared on its way to Lethbridge. The trophy goes to the winner of the Women's Pro Hockey League. The PWHL issued a statement saying the trophy was being transported to Lethbridge, but it didn't arrive as expected. The statement says it's working with the shipping company to track it down. It's unclear where the Walter Cup was last seen, and unlike the Stanley Cup, the PWHL does not have a person dedicated to traveling with it when it goes on the road to be with players. Just ahead, a double stabbing at a Sikh temple in Edmonton. 2 men were injured and taken to hospital. Police are now investigating a possible hate crime. And sentencing this afternoon for one of 2 brothers who viciously attacked a Calgary transit driver. That's next. Calgary police suspect alcohol was a factor in a rollover on Stoney Trail last night. The driver had to be extracted from a truck that rolled in the westbound lanes near Chaparral Boulevard southeast. The man was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Edmonton's Sikh community is in shock today after an early morning attack at a temple. 2 men were stabbed with what police believe was a screwdriver during morning prayers. Police say the suspect has a long and violent criminal history and had recently been released from a federal prison. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Wedding guests file out of the Nanuksar Gurdwara while a police cruiser idles in the parking lot. The Sikh community defiantly celebrating a cultural and life event just hours after an attack.
An altercation took place. He interrupted the morning prayer service.
Sikh temples have an open door policy where anyone is welcome. Just after 5 a.m., worshippers noticed a man had entered the prayer hall and something felt off.
There is a Guru Granth Sahib, a holy scripture that the Sikhs pray to, and that he went straight for that when they tried to subdue him or try to restrain him. He assaulted several members of the congregation, 2 of whom were hospitalized.
Police say the congregants managed to hold the attacker until officers arrived and arrested him. A 51-year-old and a 75-year-old man were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening stab wounds. Investigators believe the attacker used a screwdriver. The 27-year-old suspect was also transported to hospital. Police are not naming him until they lay charges, but say he has a lengthy and violent criminal history.
We've learned that he was released from a federal institution yesterday, August 20th, 2026, where he had been serving a sentence for aggravated assault and assaulting a peace officer, and he failed to report to his designated Edmonton halfway house.
Investigators say that prison was not Edmonton Max, just down Highway 15. For now, they will only say it was an institution in Alberta.
Incidents like this pose a direct threat to all Edmontonians, negatively impacting residents and the character of our city. Hate and racism and prejudice have no place in our city.
Police are still determining whether the stabbing was a hate crime at a time when hate appears to be on the rise.
What we're seeing in Canada right now in terms of polarization, politicization of certain things, leaders speaking out in different directions or not speaking out against hate, these are the things that the police are dealing with, and it's becoming increasingly complex.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
One of the 2 brothers who viciously attacked a Calgary city bus driver was sentenced today to 3 years in prison. Transit operators gathered at the Court Centre to support the victim, 67-year-old Amarjeet Grill. In May last year, Daryl Flett and his brother Curtis Spence boarded a bus in Falcon Ridge. Spence attacked the driver with a collapsible baton, and Flett hit him several times with an edged weapon. Grill suffered serious injuries.
Our members just trying to be at work and be safe and make a living. You go to work, you should be able to go home, you're looking after your families and stuff like that. So the sentencing part is difficult. We don't want to be vindictive, but we want this to be a social deterrent.
Flett apologized to the victim in court. Flett will serve 18 months probation after his prison time. His brother was previously sentenced to 4 years in prison. Gruel has now returned to work. An investigation is underway after a small plane had to make an emergency landing on a road near Prince George last night.
We are saddened to confirm that there has been one fatality, an occupant of one of the vehicles.
The other vehicle occupants, as well as those on the plane, were attended to by emergency health services, though any injuries are unknown currently by us.
Authorities say the plane is a Beach King Air 200. It lost power and came down yesterday afternoon, colliding with 4 vehicles. None of the 6 passengers and 2 crew members on board the plane were hurt.
This is CTV News Calgary.
Well, we have some pretty nice weather heading into a weekend.
We do. Isn't it so fantastic to have a beautiful Friday to just carry us in?
Yeah.
It's almost like you already feel like you're into the weekend, although we still have some show to do here, so we'll do that. All right, let's talk about the weather. And while it's fantastic now, it will be pretty fantastic tomorrow as well. That is, of course, if you can handle the heat, because there's more heat to come tomorrow. 25 degrees is the temperature right now. We did get to 26 earlier today in the city. And it certainly feels warmer or hotter than this with the humidity. Well, I'll show you humidity in just a second. Base temperature, just ambient temperature, 30 in Medicine Hat, 27 in Brooks, 29 in Drumheller. Factoring in humidity, and it feels closer to 31 in Drumheller, 32 in Medicine Hat, 30 in Lethbridge, and 28 in Calgary. So it's a hot one today. It will be even a couple degrees hotter for tomorrow. All right, let's talk about the air quality, because for most of Alberta, southern Alberta, we actually have decent air quality. It's not the worst, it's not the best. We're sitting at moderate for the most part. Calgary, we've been at moderate for today, so a little hazy for sure. We will likely be at moderate tomorrow in Calgary, so we'll stay fairly similar, but we'll drop down to low on that air quality health index later in the day. So our air quality will improve in the city later in the day tomorrow. Where we are seeing poor air quality is around the Banff area and really right up along the mountains, because we have poor air quality on the BC side, and some of that is really spilling over. Good news is that we're going to get a push of winds from basically the southwest, and that's going to carry the smoke up to our neighbors up north around the Edmonton area, and we're going to have better air quality here in southern Alberta as we head through, especially by late day tomorrow. Even in Banff, it will start to improve tomorrow throughout the day. All right, it's calm, it's quiet right now. You can see the cloud cover that's pushing towards us, though. The mountains will keep a lot of it off onto the BC side, but we will have some clouds spill in for tomorrow at times. Even right up along the mountains, there's even a chance of a few isolated showers for the morning hours. And then by the afternoon, we should see a clearing, so we'll get a good amount of sunshine out there for parts of the day in the city tomorrow, especially by the afternoon hours. All right, Sunday's a bit different. Sunday will get a little unstable. So even in the morning hours closer to Lethbridge, a chance of showers. And then by Sunday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there will be thunderstorm development. Some of these will be severe. Most likely, though, it will be north of Calgary and affecting Innisfail, Red Deer, and then it will also be in the southeast corner near the Medicine Hat area. Calgary, we have a chance of seeing it, but it's a smaller chance of getting this active weather in Calgary for Sunday. 28 degrees for tomorrow. It will feel closer to 30, even 31 with the humidity, with some cloudy periods, some sunny periods. By Sunday, small risk of some thunderstorm development and a high of 27. We level out to just those 24 and 25 for Monday and Tuesday of next week. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast.
Thank you, Danielle. Still to come, pushback against data centers. The province's traveling town hall runs into some strong opposition. And part of Calgary's historic King Eddie gets a new home and a second chance. Stay with us for that. The province's AI strategy was under fire at a town hall in Sturgeon County last night. Many Albertans are worried about what a data center will do to their communities. CTV's Curtis Goodrum reports.
Ma'am, sir. Pointed questions to Minister of Technology and Innovation Nate Glubish. Many here say this town hall comes too late, with a $13 billion Meta data center project underway.
These town halls are a walk back, and it is 10 steps too late.
The town halls come after they've done everything and made all the decisions.
Alberta's Industrial Heartland Association says it's surprised by the lack of support from the community.
The community response, say, at the town halls over the last couple of days has been different than what we've seen. I think the benefits to the region will be substantial.
Potential benefits are still a bit unclear to the town of Olds. The Alberta Utilities Commission ruled a proposed data center's power plant can't go ahead. Other municipalities have reached out to the town to learn how the regulations work.
Some actual guardrails that are in place on these types of proposals to be able to determined before these get down as far as they do.
The minister also believes Alberta's approach to data centre development is working, and so are town halls. Nate Glubish says feedback from Albertans at these town halls will help inform the province's approach to future data centre development, including work underway to establish consistent province-wide siting standards that keep large data centres away from residential neighbourhoods. Next month, there will be a town hall held in Grand Prairie. The mayor hopes it will ease some concerns surrounding a data centre project spearheaded by celebrity businessman Kevin O'Leary.
Technology is changing, and that opportunity only continues to grow for people. And so I think the reality of data centers is imminent.
A virtual town hall with Premier Daniel Smith will be held August 27th. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
There is some good news for people forced from their homes by a massive wildfire near Summerland, BC. Most of the evacuation orders in the area have now been downgraded to alert status. The BC Wildfire Service released new video showing some of the roads surrounded by burned power lines and charred trees. Partial re-entry is underway, but a boil water notice is in effect. The fire, which is still considered out of control, destroyed about 150 structures and forced around 20,000 people to flee. Hot and dry conditions are expected across the province with gusty winds and the potential for lightning and thunder showers tomorrow. Tourists pay a lot of money to go whale watching, but sometimes the whales come to you. Our trending videos are next. Inventors and builders can see new life in almost anything. A Calgary craftsman built an electric guitar out of an exit sign. What makes it even cooler is that the sign came out of the old King Eddie Hotel where he used to listen to live performances. So when he finished it, he donated it to someone who would really appreciate it. Kevin Fleming explains.
It plays a trick on your mind because it sounds like an electric guitar, but it doesn't look like one. David Blitt from the National Music Centre is playing Kevin McCauley's custom-made instrument, who found the exit sign on Kijiji.
Paid him his $20, and as I was leaving his place, he said, I don't know if it means anything to you, but he said, I was on the crew that demolished the old King Eddie Hotel, and he said, this is an exit sign that came out of that. And I thought at the time, well, that's kind of cool.
That piqued McCauley's interest because it was a venue he frequented in the 80s and 90s, listening to all kinds of live performances. First, he cleaned up the sign, then he got to work.
Basically what I did, you can't really tell from here, but I took it apart and I built a exoskeleton, if you will. So it's got a maple box basically inside of that.
McCauley and his wife are members of the National Music Centre, and when he finished the guitar, that's where he took it.
He walked in the door of the National Music Centre in the King Eddie and handed as a gift this exit sign King Eddie guitar. That's really how it happened. He just showed up.
Would you sell us that guitar? He said, we would love to have something from the original King Eddie. And I said, nah, absolutely not. I said, it's not for sale, but I said, I'll give it to you.
The head of the museum then commissioned McCauley to build 2 more guitars out of wood saved from the restoration of the old King Eddie.
We were just kind of waiting for someone like him to walk through the door, and he did. And it's great that he's from Calgary, which is even, kind of the cherry on top, right?
I like to think that, this wood was part of the King Eddie, absorbing the musical frequencies for decades, and I wanted to keep it as true to that form as possible.
The electric guitars are now part of the museum's living collection, where artists can play them for the public to enjoy. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
That is pretty cool. That's a nice little piece of history.
Yeah, and for the record, artists can play it, so you and I, we cannot.
Yeah, of course.
No touching.
Well, whale watchers didn't even have to leave the dock in Victoria to catch this killer show. A pod of Big's killer whales was caught on camera Wednesday, swimming right in the inner harbor.
Yowzas.
Wow. This particular pod is known as the Runaways, after its matriarch, Runaway, who was born in 1990. The mammals did a lap of the inner harbor before heading back to the open ocean.
They're like such celebrities there.
Everyone everybody knows them. That would be so cool, though. Just imagine you're strolling the inner harbor and, oh, look, a pod of water.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, not every day.
No. Reports out of Hollywood suggest the team behind James Bond is approaching a decision on the next actor to take on the iconic role.
Name? Bond. James Bond.
So you'll remember Daniel Craig stepped down from the role after 2021's No Time to Die. Last year, Canada's own Denis Villeneuve was revealed as the director for the next film in the spy franchise. Sources tell Deadline the team has started informing talent if they've made the next round of auditions. Previous reports suggested they were seeking someone fitting maybe like a Jacob Elordi, Harris Dickinson, Callum Taylor. But there are no specific names in the running.
Interesting. Chris Hemsworth.
Tall and handsome appears to be who they're looking for this. Well, a live album of performances from the Tragically Hip's final tour has now been released.
You are ahead by a century. You are ahead by a century.
So the band embarked on its final tour a decade ago after frontman Gord Downie was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. They played in 15 cities across the country, performing their final show in their hometown of Kingston on August 20th, 2016. And Downie died just over a year later at the age of 53. All of those Hip fans will be looking for that live album for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Retail sales bumped up in Canada this summer, and we'll tell you where people are spending their paychecks. Our business report is still ahead.
Okay, Skywatch weather camera, and yeah, it's a little hazy out there. It's hot, it's hazy. Same idea for tomorrow, except for tomorrow we'll have a little more cloud cover than what we had today. All right, today's high was 26. Currently, we're sitting at 25 and normal is 22. We will be above normal for the weekend. So yeah, the hot weather is here to stay for a bit. If you look at humidity, we can basically tack on another couple degrees for how it actually feels out there. So it feels closer to 28 in Calgary right now, closer to 31 in Drumheller and 32 in Medicine Hat, 30 in Lethbridge. So definitely a hot, humid one. Air quality is moderate for most of southern Alberta, but closer to Banff, we have poor air quality because we have a bit of a spillover from what's happening in BC. And that will be the case for tomorrow as well. But all communities will start to improve, especially later in the day tomorrow with regards to air quality. You can also see that what's pushing towards us. So we have the potential of a little more cloud cover out there tomorrow compared to today. Air quality health index for Calgary is sticking at moderate. But by later in the day tomorrow after 4, we should be at low on that air quality health index. Humidex, with the humidity, it will feel like 30 tomorrow. So it will be a hot one. That's your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. All right, let's take a little look around because we have hot temperatures, of course, in BC, plus the risk of thunderstorms, Kamloops and through Kelowna. Edmonton getting a high of 28 for tomorrow and a little more cloud cover. Edmonton, Rocky Mountain House, Red Deer. But the mountains are going to protect the far south from a lot of that cloud cover, but we'll still have cloudy periods at times. Olds looking at a high of 29, Drumheller 31, Lethbridge 30, Medicine Hat 32. Keep in mind, these are just the base temperatures. With the humidity, it will feel even a couple degrees hotter than the temperatures you're seeing here, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. The Alberta Prosperity Project has released a vision of a future independent Alberta. Their discussion paper's proposals include having an Alberta president, income tax capped at 10%, and the right to possess and carry firearms. Premier Danielle Smith tells CTV News she hopes a new trade deal with the U.S. will avoid additional tariffs, and she hopes eliminating U.S. alcohol bans will help negotiations. An emotional celebration of life was held for Flames broadcaster Peter Maher this afternoon. The service included tributes from fellow broadcasters, former Flames, and family members. Sports radio is gradually making a comeback in Calgary. QR Calgary 770 has announced a new sports talk show hosted by former The Fan 960 morning show host Mike Richards. The Raw Mike Richards show will air Saturday from 11 to noon starting September 5th. QR is also carrying Calgary Flames games after Rogers shut down Sportsnet Radio earlier this year. Richards' show will be produced by Ron Tarrant, who is a SAIT graduate who used to work with Howard Stern. Statistics Canada says retail sales were up in June. BNN Bloomberg's Marla Fernandez has more.
Sales hit just over $74 billion in June, with general merchandise retailers getting the biggest boost. Clothing and jewelry retail also popped, up 3% month to month. But lower grocery purchases brought food and beverage retail down. Now, in dollar amount, Ontario had the highest sales in June and Alberta the lowest. E-commerce sales were up almost 10% that month, hitting $5.7 billion. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.63 US. West Texas Intermediate up to 87.06 US a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to 67.66, and the TSX gained 254 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
A British Columbia community is being rocked by the closure of its pulp mill. Hundreds of people have 2 months to figure out their future in what workers are calling a gut punch. It's being blamed on a perfect storm of problems, including the trade battle with the U.S. Here's Andrew Johnson.
On a spectacular August day, a dark cloud is hanging over the future on BC's Sunshine Coast.
I can't see families staying if that is their sole base of money coming in to support their families.
Families like Andrew Appleton's.
I've got 4 kids, and I've got bills to pay, and I don't know what's going to happen after this.
Appleton's worked at the Howe Sound pulp mill near Gibson's for more than 2 decades. So do 400 others. They'll all be unemployed as of October.
It was a huge gut punch to everybody, all at the same time, from top to bottom.
And a major blow to a town that has been tied to the mill for as long as anyone here can remember.
Every restaurant, every grocery store, every business on the Sunshine Coast is going to be impacted.
The mill's owner, Domtar, is blaming reduced demand from Asia, poor prices, and a lack of wood fiber. The industry has also taken a beating from tariffs.
This storm has been coming. We know that the tariffs aren't helping. We know that the lack of a deal isn't helping.
This is the third BC mill to announce a shutdown in just the past 8 months. The union says successive governments have failed to make bold moves to keep the industry competitive.
We don't want to see ghost towns all across British Columbia, all across the country, because the governments can't get it together and deal with the forestry situation.
In the short term, hundreds of people here will need to pivot quickly. Chris Perry's at the end of his career. He fears the resource jobs the province was built on are being forgotten.
I'm old. I'm 4 months away from retirement. I just lost my job. And you're telling me AI is the answer?
Domtar is not officially closing the pulp mill. It's calling this an indefinite idling. And the union says that's enough to keep the door open just a crack in its fight to find a way to save these jobs. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Gibson's, BC.
Some Canadian financial institutions are updating their codes of conduct to restrict employees' use of prediction markets. The new rules have been implemented by banks like RBC, TD, and National Bank. They target employees who have access to non-public information, barring them from betting on events like Bank of Canada interest rate decisions or corporate earning metrics, which determine a company's profitability. The new policies follow similar measures taken in the U.S. to prevent any conflict of interest within the firms. Black Ribbon Day was marked this afternoon at the Alberta Legislature, honoring victims of Nazism and Stalinism.
In remembering, we honor the victims. In remembering, we acknowledge the pain carried by survivors and their families. In remembering, we reaffirm our responsibility to ensure that such injustices are never forgotten nor are repeated.
Black Ribbon Day is a national day of remembrance. It's marked every August 23rd, the anniversary of the signing of a pact between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. The agreement led to the German invasion of Poland and the start of the Second World War. Black Ribbon Day is observed in Europe as well. An event was held today to help some of Calgary's most vulnerable get the care they need. We'll visit a pop-up in a downtown park where volunteers lent a hand to make life just a little bit better for others. That's next. Ferocious competition brought dancers from 5 countries together in Edmonton today. The Pan American Lion Dance Championship and the Canadian National Lion Dance Championship take place over the weekend as part of the Edmonton Dragon Festival. There are dancers from Canada, Mexico, Panama, the U.S., and Trinidad and Tobago. The festival celebrates Chinese culture through food, performance, and community events. Central Memorial Park was transformed into a festival-like atmosphere today. There was live music, interactive arts, and dozens of booths. But what set it apart is that it was actually catering to Calgary's homeless and vulnerable population. Here's Camilla Di Giuseppe.
It's amazing, to be honest. It's kind of one of the things that help you feel human again.
A fresh haircut in Central Memorial Park in downtown Calgary. A first for Paul. Also new to him, becoming homeless.
It's been about a week and kind of happened really quick. I had to sleep outside and I got jumped by homeless people. I was just telling her, and I ended up with a fracture in my forearm.
Overhearing Paul's story is Julia, a student stylist, volunteering her time.
I think it's hard, especially in today's economy. Like, anything can switch like overnight.
I had a nice car, I had an apartment downtown, and sometimes life has a way of humbling you, and that's me.
And many others, unhoused and vulnerable Calgarians, converging on this one-day pop-up care village.
There is a safe space for people to coming here. They don't have to worry about survival needs. They can access the different resources here,
such as food, clothing, doctor checkups, social and mental health services.
It's really nice being here and seeing that there's a lot of support in the community. More support than I thought there was, actually.
Run mostly by youth volunteers, this free event has even a bigger goal, bridging the wider community with the city's underserved population.
How do we engage the youth and how do we engage our community in an ethical way that's not just patronizing or tokenistic?
And like the saying goes, it takes a village.
Having never been in this position, I didn't know what step one was. That's why I think things like this are important.
Even if it's just once a year. Camilla Di Giuseppe, CTV News, Calgary.
This is the 5th year for the pop-up care village, which had over 40 partners, more than 100 volunteers, and serving at least 600 guests. All right, let's bring Danielle back in for one last peek at the forecast as we head into the weekend.
Yeah, we're just coasting into the weekend here. Not a whole lot of weather to talk about. It's a little smoky. Yeah, especially closer to the mountains around the Banff area. But outside of that, it's moderate on the Air Quality Health Index. No active weather to speak of for the next day or so. 28 degrees is the high for tomorrow. With humidity, it will feel closer to that 30 mark. There will be more cloudy periods out there tomorrow in comparison to today, but still some sunny breaks as well. Sunday, that's when we get into a small risk of thunderstorm activity, but outside of Calgary and surrounding areas, more likely to see the thunderstorm activity on Sunday, especially after 4 p.m. Calgary, though, looking at a high of 27, so the heat is here for the whole weekend. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And Michael in Terrasano sent this in. I believe he took this Tuesday evening, but it doesn't really matter when he took it. It's stunning. So thank you, Michael, for sharing that with us.
The clouds are doing interesting things there, yeah.
Right? Yeah, very pretty.
Well, thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific weekend.